Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, I have a new haircut done by John Taylor, aka my dad. So shout out to him for helping me rock this new look with the short hair. But lots of basketball to talk about. Yesterday we had Game 1 of Celtics Raptors and Game 6 of the Mavs Clips and Jazz Nuggets series. So let's get right into it with yesterday's surprising result in the Celtics Raptors Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Semifinals series. Yesterday, the thing that stood out to me was just how well the centers for the Celtics played and how many struggles the centers for the Raptors had. The Celtics centers clearly outplayed the Raptors centers, and Serge Ibaka and Marc Gasol were a big reason why the Raptors were able to win that championship last year. And so they need those two to step it up and play better. They're playing against Daniel Tice and Robert Williams. I mean, come on, guys. Those two are nothing special. Tice is a great feel for the game. Williams is a big body who can finish plays and block shots on the defensive end. Good rebounder, but I mean, come on. Your Serge Ibaka and Marc Gasol both have... Well, Marc has made plenty of all-star games and won a Defensive Player of the Year. Ibaka was a borderline all-star at one point in his career. I get they're both kind of trending down in terms of their age. As they get older, obviously their production decreases, but they're still very good players, and these are not guys they should be getting outplayed by. Robert Williams finished with 10 points and 5 rebounds on 5 for 5 shooting in 19 minutes. That's a really, really good night. Tice also had a good game. He had some foul trouble, but he played really, really good defense, and he definitely impacted the game in a positive way for the Celtics. And the Raptors just are going to need a lot more out of Serge and Marc in order for them to win this series. Kanter's out of the rotation for the Celtics. I thought that this was going to happen, but I didn't think Stevens would make the adjustment before the series even started. I thought that Kanter would at least get playtime in Game 1, but Stevens knew that the Raptors were going to play Kanter off the court, so we decided why even put him in the first place. So, yeah, Kanter's riding the bench right now, and I think it's a smart decision by Brad Stevens. This is not a series where Kanter is playable, so just the right choice. I talked about it a bit in my video yesterday, and like I just said, I did not think that he would make this adjustment before the series even started, but here we are. Fred VanVleet and Pascal Siakam both really struggled. Siakam finished with, I think it was like 12 points. He shot like 5 for 16, 0 for 3 from the three-point line. I mean, come on, guy. You got it. You got to play better than that. Yesterday, I made my prediction that the Raptors were going to win this series because I believed that Pascal Siakam could lead them. And yesterday, he did not show that leading ability. He was getting mismatches. He was having guys like Marcus Smart on him in the post, guys that are 5-6 inches smaller than him. And he was not able to turn those into buckets, which he needs to be able to do every single time. With him posting up those guards, they just put their chest out, took all the contact, and would not let him get a good look. Jaylen Brown did a great job. Shemi Ojele, when he came into the game, masterful job on Pascal Siakam. So, for the Raptors to win this series, Siakam cannot play like this. He needs to be the second best player on the court behind Tatum. He cannot be playing worse than Kemba. He's got to exert himself as a star, and he certainly did not do that yesterday. Fred VanVleet also struggled shooting the ball, but unlike Siakam, he didn't let it bleed into other things. It felt like Siakam just kept trying to force it, and I guess Freddie did too. He took 16 shots, only made 3 of them, only 2 for 11 from the three-point line, but Freddie also made a lot of really, really nice passes. He finished with 8 assists. He also had a great game on the defensive end, forcing 6 steals. He has active hands. He moves his feet so well. He notices when players are just being careless, dribbling the basketball, pokes his hands in, and the Raptors overall did a really nice job of that. The Celtics were just hitting very difficult shots when they were able to get shots up, but one thing that would make me nervous as a Celtics fan, the Raptors forced 22 turnovers. That's an awful lot. But maybe that even makes you nervous as a Raptors fan as well, because you forced 22 turnovers and you still lost by 20. So Definitely something the Celtics can improve on is taking care of the ball, especially because they were lucky and not many of those turnovers resulted in Raptors fast breaks. And usually that's where the Raptors are going to kill you. If you turn the ball over, they're going to get to the bucket and they're going to thrive in fast break because that's what they've done all season. They've been the best fast break offense in the entire NBA. And if you let them get those opportunities, they will take advantage of them. But in the half court, this team's just not getting it done. Siakam is usually their go-to guy, the guy they can give the ball to, get us a bucket now. In the isolation, in a face-up, in a post-up. But yesterday, he just did not have it going. And they need him to step up and do more of that. That's where this half-court offense can get better. If Siakam is drawing a second defender, kicking it out to Van Vliet for a good look, Lowry for a good look, Norman Powell, OG Anunoby, getting good looks for their three-point shooters, Serge Ibaka, who was really the only consistent scorer for the Raptors yesterday. He needs to play better on the defensive end, but he finished with 15 points and 9 rebounds on 4 for 10 shooting, 3 for 7 for 3. He definitely outplayed Marc Gasol yesterday. They both finished with negative plus minuses, but Ibaka definitely looked like he was a better player out there, so I'm sure that he'll be getting the bulk of the center minutes for the rest of the series, especially because it does not really look like these two can play together. In those minutes, I believe Gasol was matched up on Marcus Smart, and Smart had a huge game, finishing with 21 points, 6 for 10 shooting, 5 for 9 from 3. Just a really big game from Marcus Smart. They need that kind of scoring from him. He basically played the Gordon Hayward role with better defense. And if he's doing that, this team's going to be really, really tough to beat because he's just such a good defender. And if he's a plus on the offensive end, that's huge. Obviously, he's had 4 turnovers, and so he was a big contributor to that large turnover number from the team as a whole. So he needs to take care of the ball better. But with his scoring yesterday and his great defense, he definitely was a huge help for the Celtics in getting that victory. Jason Tatum had a huge third quarter. He finished the game with 21 and 9 for 18 shooting, 2 for 5 from the three-point line. Just a really big game from him. Every time the Raptors, put on a little mini run, he had an answer. Whether it was getting to the basket and finishing a tough floater or hook shot, or just knocking down a contested 3. He just had it going yesterday. Late in the game, I actually missed the first half because I thought the game started at 2:30, not 12:30. So I did miss the first half, so I'm not real sure about what the action looked like there. But I know in the second half, Tatum really stepped up and knocked down all the shots they needed him to, so that was huge. Norman Powell is just a really good cutter. He's got to be one of the top 5, top 10 cutters in the entire NBA. I know on my team, Pat Connaughton's the best cutter as a Bucks fan, but not really something I've paid attention to for other teams. But Norman Powell did a really good job of that. It allowed him to get some open looks. He dropped the pass once or twice. He also just didn't finish the layup a time or two, but he finished with 10 points, and I think 3 of those buckets were on just good rim runs. So definitely a good skill for him. I really like Norman Powell moving forward. I think he's going to be a really good player in this league. So that's just another piece of what makes him so good. Kyle Lowry tried to lead a charge back for the Raptors in the second half, but it just wasn't enough. He finished with 17, 8, and 6. Great game, 5 for 12 shooting, but they needed him to carry the offense because he was really the only guy who had it going, it felt like. So definitely a pretty solid game from him, but they need the other guys to step it up a bit. And also his defense on Kemba was not spectacular. Kemba finished 6 for 11 from the field, 4 for 7 from 3, 18 and 10 assists. Kemba was moving the ball great, and he was also knocking down shots. It felt like every time Kemba hit a shot, it took the lead from 14 to 17 or 16 to 19. Like, it would be huge shots that he was knocking down that were taking the momentum and giving it back, swinging it back to the Celtics. So definitely a really good game from Kemba, and that was something that the Celtics needed from him. So definitely an impressive performance from Kemba. Um, yeah, the Raptors also struggled from the free throw line. Actually, they shot 22 for 29, which isn't atrocious. However, um, the key misses, like whenever they would go on a little run and cut the lead down to 14, um, they would have a chance to cut it to 12, and then they'd go 1 for 2 from the line, and it would still be 13. And then Kemba Walker or Jason Tatum would hit a big shot, and boom, we're right back where we started. So that was not great on the Raptors' end. They need to knock down those key free throws. So overall, just great game from the Celtics. Take care of the ball better, but other than that, pretty perfect. The Raptors need more from their star, Pascal Siakam, and they also need to, I guess that's about it. Maybe try to run on the fast break a bit more, but their defense was good. The Celtics were just hitting tough shots. Oh, the other thing for the Raptors would be better play from their centers. Mavs clips. Marcus Morris has a big impact on every game as just a guy that wants to win, a competitor. And his ejection, I thought, could be a big part of the game, but they were able to bounce back largely because of Jermichael Green's play in replacing Marcus Morris. He had 7 points and 5 rebounds, 3 for 5 shooting, but he played good defense. He hustled and played hard, and he ended up with a plus 20 for the game in his 15 minutes of play. So he looks like a better backup big man than Montrezl Harrell. Obviously, Harrell for the season and for the larger body of work has been the better player, but Harrell is still knocking off some rust. So as of right now, I think Jermichael Green is a better player, and I wonder if Doc Rivers will realize that and put it to use in this upcoming series against either the Jazz or the Nuggets. Luka's passing just blows me away every time. Yesterday he had 38 points, 9 rebounds, 9 assists. Just another masterpiece from him. 15 for 28 from the field, 4 for 9 from 3, and 4 for 8 from the line. Not great, but he just seems to struggle with free throws. Maybe it's a bit of a similar thing to LeBron, where it's just something that's not going to go away. I hope not, but that's definitely a flaw in his game, is his free throw shooting. But just another great game from Luka. Continues to put together wonderful games for us to watch. Just one of the most entertaining NBA players. It's amazing to me how quietly Kawhi puts up 35 points every game. Yesterday he had 33, 14, and 7, 14 for 23 from the field, 1 for 4 from 3, but he just puts together these huge games by every couple possessions getting a bucket. Like, it's not like other stars where they get in a roll and they just start getting score after score after score and just piling on the points. But for Kawhi, it's just his methodical approach. Okay, I'm going to attack the mismatch now. Okay, I'm going to let Paul take this possession. All right, now I've got Seth Curry on me. Let's make something happen here. You know, he just plays so well in the flow of the game. He has his methodical approach to offense, and it's incredible how, you know, you're just watching the game and you're like, okay, Kawhi's playing pretty well. And then the announcer says, Leonard's up to 33 points. What? I mean, I could tell he was having a great game, but 33? Holy cow. Yeah, it's just so impressive to me. He's a star like no other. He doesn't complain to the refs. He plays hard. He's just such a fun player to watch. In my opinion, the best in the NBA right now. So just incredible. Incredible player. Great defender as well. Always giving it his all when he's playing. When he's on load management, he's obviously not giving it his all. But that's another story for another day. And his mid-range game is just so lethal. You give him an open look in that mid-range, he's got so many ways he can take the shot, whether it's a fade, floater, Usually it is that fadeaway, though, that mid-range fade. It's just so tough to stop because he gets space and just puts his hand in the cookie jar and knocks it down every time. Just so good. And I just feel like I underappreciate him so often because I like talking about the intricacies of the game. And I feel like star players as a whole, I just don't appreciate them well enough. And in this series, Kawhi and Luka have put on a show for us, and it was a lot of fun. I'm sad that it's over. Mavs off-season preview coming soon. But, yeah. Luka, when he gets a big man on him, it's an automatic bucket. It's just so fun. Like, you see him get, it would be mostly Ivica Zubac. This is like the hardest name in the NBA to say for me. Ivica whatever. You know who I'm talking about. I think it's like Zubats? Ivica Zubats? I don't know. Based off the spelling, it should be Ivica Zubac. But nope. Ivica Zubac is how... Or Zubats. Zubats, that's it. Ivica Zubats. Hardest name in the NBA for me to say. But whenever Luka got that mismatch with Zubats on him, he was just getting whatever shot he wanted, whether it was a step back three, a fadeaway from the mid-range, or a layup, or getting a dime off to a teammate, perfect pass. He could just do whatever he wanted when he got those big man mismatches, and it's just so fun to watch. He's just such a special player, and I'm disappointed his season's over because we won't get to watch him anymore, but just wonderful player. Can't wait to see what he can do next year. Will he be in the MVP conversation? I think he definitely will. Can't wait to see it. The Mavs were a bit sloppy and they struggled from the perimeter. Those are probably the two main reasons why they lost. Just stretches where it looked like they were like, we're going home. We have no chance anymore. Whenever the Clippers would go on a little run, it just looked like they were mentally defeated. And you could tell that Kristaps was missing because their perimeter shooting without him was just not that great. They shot 11 for 37. But if you take out Luka's 4 for 9, they were 7 for 28. That's 25%. And when you've got guys like Tim Hardaway and Seth Curry, you would expect to shoot a lot closer to 35 or 40% game in and game out. So definitely unfortunate that they went cold in this game of all games, but what are you going to do about it? And Kawhi, back to him, his rebounding is another thing that just blows me away. He rebounds like he's 7 foot tall. He's got those huge hands. He just rips the ball every time. Goes for every rebound. Yesterday he had 14. He's one of the best rebounders in the NBA, and he's 6'7". He's just such a good player. Good passer, makes good decisions. Scores the ball so well. Great defender. He does everything for you. I can't think of a single flaw in his game. I mean, maybe it's the playmaking, but he's not bad. He's above average. He's just not incredible like the rest of his offensive game is. So just a really, really outstanding player. I can't talk enough about him. I mean, Luka tried to lead that comeback, and Luka had a great game, a masterful performance to get the Mavs back in it, because I thought that game was over once the Clippers ran it up and the Mavs looked defeated, but Luka did not give up, and Luka kept going and kept hitting shots and got the Mavs back in the game. I think they got it down to like 88 to 82, and I was like, oh man, it's going to be game 4? Game 4 all over again. Luka's going to go crazy and lead the Mavs to another huge win. But Kawhi just said, no, I'm winning this one. This is my game. And he just put the team on his back and had a huge second half for them. Just incredible showdown in this series between Kawhi and Luka. And I wish we could watch 6 more games between these two. Finally, Jazz Nuggets. Jamal Murray, Donovan Mitchell. I mean, these guys are just insane. Are either of them ever going to have an off game? Murray was 9 for 12 from 3. Mitchell was 9 for 13. I mean, come on. These guys are not even taking any shots off the catch. There's no catching shooting being done. It's all off the dribble, all difficult shots, all step backs and pull-ups, and they hit every shot. It's incredible. Yesterday, Donovan Mitchell, 44 points, 9 for 13 from 3, 14 for 25 from the field, 7 for 7 from the line. I mean, from inside the lane, inside the arc, he shot 5 for 12, which is not very good. But his shooting percentage was still 56% because he hit 9 out of 13 threes. Just incredible. I mean, usually that's where you can count on Donovan in the paint, and he definitely needs to be better in there because he made some bad decisions and turned the ball over 4 times, and he missed a lot of layups that he's usually making. So if he plays better in the paint, I mean, you can't ask for much more out of this guy. He had 44 points and 6 assists, 5 rebounds, but I mean, I guess I shouldn't even point out his flaws because he was just incredible. And Jamal Murray, he was just flat out better than Donovan. I mean, for as good as Donovan was, Jamal Murray was better. Finished with 50, 17 for 24 from the field, 9 for 12 from 3, 7 for 9 from the line. Just feels like he can't miss. His shot making in the second half was incredible. Every shot he took felt like it was going down. And just watching these two duel, it's like Luka and Kawhi, but maybe even better just because of how bad the defense is, so they never miss any shots. So just so fun to watch these two this series. George Niang, I mean, how can we go from those two to George Niang? But he plays his role, and I love watching him play just because he's a guy that went from being a center in college, now he's like a 3 in the NBA, and he just plays his role, had 10 points, 3 for 6 shooting, 2 for 4 from 3, doesn't force anything on offense, plays good defense. The thing that impressed me most is his wall-ups. He goes straight up, jumps in the air. Best way to contest a shot if you're not a shot blocker. So he just does such a good job playing his role on offense and defense, and he's just a really good NBA player. Really good role player, and that's what the Jazz need. They need that kind of depth. And he looks like he's probably one of their best, probably their second best guy off the bench behind Clarkson. Joe Ingles as a playmaker is also fantastic. I feel like this guy doesn't get enough credit for how good of a passer he is, but he's on like Luka LeBron level for me. Like, he makes incredibly difficult passes and makes it look easy. He's just a really, really good passer. His assist totals aren't always super high like Luka and LeBron and Jokic, so maybe that's why he doesn't get that kind of credit, but this guy can make whatever pass you need him to. Gary Harris returned. Looked really good on defense. Did a great job on Clarkson. Clarkson had the worst plus-minus of anyone in the entire game, and that's largely because of the work Gary Harris did on him. So very impressive return showing from Gary, and it's great to see him back on the court because obviously you don't want anyone to be injured. Rudy Gobert has bad hands. I've noticed it a couple times this series, but yesterday it showed up multiple times where he would have a chance to catch and dunk, and he would fumble the pass, the defender would recover, and he would either get his shot blocked or he'd lose it. So that's just somewhere he has to improve. Shot 3 for 8 yesterday on the game, and he doesn't take a shot from further than the block. So 3 for 8 shooting when you're a center that doesn't step further than 5 feet away from the basket. They need him to play better. And kudos to Jokic because he played pretty good defense on Gobert yesterday. Definitely made it difficult on him. But 11-11 is fine for Rudy, but he's got to hit more free throws. He was only 5 for 11 from the line yesterday. Got to be better there. Obviously, he's a big guy, so he's going to struggle. But if he can shoot closer to 66%, that's going to be huge for them. And he's also got to finish more shots at the rim. Tony Bradley's just flat out bad. I really hope Quinn Snyder realizes it and just doesn't play him. I mean, I think that the Jazz are fine. Well, they kind of need him to play those minutes against Mason Plumlee because Rudy can't play the whole game, and Mason Plumlee is a bona fide big guy who you can't just throw Royce O'Neal on or George Niang on. Well, maybe George Niang can hang with him. So maybe that's a possibility, and Tony Bradley doesn't need to play. But holy cow, this guy's bad on offense. He's bad on defense. He doesn't rebound. Those minutes with him on the court are just not pretty at all. Jeremy Grant had a huge game for the Nuggets. Kind of a game saver, honestly. Hit all his big shots in the second half. Finished with 18 points, 6 for 9 from the field, 4 for 7 from 3, 2 for 2 from the line. Just a great game from him. Stepped it up when they needed him to, and he's a good player. Millsap did not really play all that much, especially down the stretch. And so that makes me think, Jeremy Grant is more valuable. He's a younger guy, and he's maybe even a better player at this particular juncture. So I think the Nuggets are much more likely to retain him than Millsap, and they're definitely going to value him more than Millsap. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of offers he gets from other teams, because he definitely seems like a very valuable player. I would not be surprised to see him get 4 years, $56 million from some team. And I don't know. Will the Nuggets match it? Who knows? They're paying a lot of other guys a lot of money. Maybe that's why the Gary Harris trade comes. But Gary Harris has been pretty invaluable to them this season too. So this team is maybe moving towards some cap difficulties. But we'll talk about that later once they're eliminated and we talk about their offseason preview. The Jazz need to trap Jamal Murray at this point. Like, he's just been so electric. They need to trap him. And Quinn Snyder has made no defensive adjustments on him as he's gone off in this series. And I think Quinn just needs to do something. I like the trap idea. It seems like the best idea to me. Just work on your defensive rotations in practice and make sure everybody's moving quick to recover. But he's been electrifying, and they just need to figure out a way to slow him down, because, giving up threes to Gary Harris and Torrey Craig, and, well, yesterday Jeremy Grant was on fire, but usually Jeremy Grant, Paul Millsap, you can live with that at a lot of times. But, yeah, Quinn Snyder needs to come up with some kind of answer. Someone else on the Jazz really needs to step up on the offensive end. Donovan Mitchell did all the scoring in the fourth quarter, and they just need someone else to do something. Conley, Clarkson, somebody. This is where Bogdanovic should be huge. If they had him, the series would be over right now. The Jazz just can't. Both games, they've had a double-digit lead, and they've squandered it immediately like that. And they just can't let that happen again, because Jamal Murray, his shot making is just incredible, and you can't count on him to miss any shots down the stretch. So you need to have as big of a lead as possible before the fourth quarter starts. Something I noticed: Game 1, close game, Nuggets won. Game 2, blowout, Jazz won. Game 3, blowout, Jazz won. Game 4, close game, Jazz won. Game 5, close game, Nuggets won. Game 6, close game, Nuggets won. So in the close games, the Nuggets are 3-1. In the blowouts, the Jazz are 2-0. So the Jazz just need to try to get as big of a lead as possible, because Jamal Murray has been the best closer in the playoffs up to this point, and they just cannot let him carry the Nuggets to victory in the second half like they have in the last couple of games. Finally, I'm kind of sad that this is the last thing I'm talking about, because this guy was spectacular yesterday too. But the Joker just had a great game, 2 for 2. 4 for 9 from 3, 22 points, 22 points, 4 rebounds, 9 assists, 7 for 15 from the field, 3 for 5 from 3, 5 for 5 from the line. He just has taken a step back to let Jamal Murray do his thing in this series because of the streak that Jamal has been on. So kudos to him for not trying to play hero ball and say, I'm the best player, I need the ball in my hands. He's done a good job stepping to the side. So, yeah. I hope that you all enjoyed this video. It was a lot of fun for me to make. Let me know in the comments what you think about the Jazz Nuggets Game 7. Who who's going to win. Yeah, that's it for me. Ladies and gentlemen, I will see you all again very soon.